Stop trying to control everything. The harder you push, the further peace slips away. Why? Because the secret to getting what you want might be the exact opposite of forcing it. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, life keeps pushing back? You hustle, you grind, you fight for control, but the results just don't come. What if the problem isn't how much effort you're putting in, but how you're approaching the situation? In this video, we'll explore timeless lessons on letting go, staying present, and finding true strength, not by forcing life to bend to your will, but by aligning with its flow. We live in a world that glorifies hustle. Push harder, try more, never quit. That's the mantra. But here's the reality. Forcing things rarely leads to sustainable success or inner peace. When you constantly push, you create tension, burnout, and frustration. You lose sight of what truly matters. The challenge isn't how hard you can work, it's how much you can align your efforts with the natural rhythm of life. That's what we're going to uncover today. 1. Stop chasing and start attracting. Have you ever noticed how the more you chase something, the harder it seems to grasp? Whether it's success, happiness, or even a relationship, the act of chasing often creates a sense of desperation. That desperation pushes the very thing you want further away. Why? Because chasing is rooted in lack. It's an admission to yourself and the world that you don't have what you're after. The harder you chase, the more you affirm that gap. But what if I told you there's another way? A way that doesn't exhaust you, frustrate you, or make you feel like life is always one step ahead. It's not about giving up. It's about shifting your focus from chasing to attracting. Let me explain. When you chase, your energy screams, I need this to feel complete. But when you focus on attraction, you're saying, I am already complete, and I welcome this into my life. It's a subtle but powerful difference. Instead of running toward your goals with frantic energy, you become the kind of person who naturally draws those goals closer. Think about people you admire. Are they desperate, frantic, and constantly chasing approval or success? Or are they calm, grounded, and confident? There's a magnetism to people who carry themselves with assurance. They don't demand attention, they command it. They don't beg for opportunities. Opportunities seem to find them. That's the power of attraction. Take relationships, for example. If you've ever been around someone who's desperate for approval, you know how it feels. Their energy is heavy, almost suffocating. On the other hand, when someone is comfortable in their own skin, they're a joy to be around. You're drawn to their presence because they radiate ease and self-assurance. The same principle applies to success. If you're constantly chasing opportunities, you might feel like you're always playing catch-up. But when you focus on becoming the kind of person who attracts opportunities, someone skilled, disciplined, and reliable, they come to you effortlessly. Here's the secret. Attracting isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about becoming. It's about developing the qualities, habits, and mindset that align with the life you want. Instead of chasing success, work on becoming someone worthy of success. Instead of chasing love, focus on becoming someone who radiates love. Instead of chasing happiness, cultivate habits that bring joy and peace into your daily life. This shift isn't just theoretical, it's deeply practical. Start by asking yourself, what kind of person naturally attracts what I want? If your goal is a thriving career, think about the qualities that make someone thrive. Is it discipline? Creativity, reliability? Then focus on developing those qualities in yourself. If your goal is a fulfilling relationship, think about what makes someone a great partner. Is it kindness, patience, communication, then embody those traits. Here's another key to attraction: gratitude. When you chase, your focus is on what you lack. But when you practice gratitude, your focus shifts to what you already have. Gratitude sends a powerful message to yourself and the universe that you're abundant, not lacking, and abundance attracts abundance. Let's not forget the role of belief. When you chase, there's often an underlying fear that you won't achieve what you're after. That fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when you attract, you operate from a place of faith. You trust that what's meant for you will find its way to you as long as you're doing the work to become ready for it. So how do you start attracting instead of chasing? Begin with awareness. Notice when your energy shifts into desperation. Pause and ask yourself, am I acting out of lack, or am I aligning with abundance? Then take a step back and refocus. Invest your energy in becoming, not chasing. Remember, the things you truly want in life are drawn to the person you are, not the person you're pretending to be. You don't have to force them into your world. Let them come naturally, drawn by the person you're becoming. The irony is that when you stop chasing, you often find that what you were looking for was trying to find you all along. 2, the power of patience. Patience. It's a word we hear often but rarely understand deeply. Most people mistake patience for passivity, as if waiting means doing nothing. But real patience isn't about inactivity. It's about trust. It's the quiet confidence that things will unfold in their own time if you keep doing the right things. Imagine planting a seed. You dig the soil, place the seed, cover it, and water it. What happens next? Do you dig it up every day to see if it's sprouting? Of course not. You understand that growth takes time. You water the soil, provide sunlight, and trust the process. That's patience, a mix of action and faith. Now think about how you approach your goals. Do you treat them like seeds, nurturing them and giving them time to grow? Or do you rush, expecting immediate results? In our fast-paced world, patience has become a lost art. We want instant gratification, quick fixes, and immediate success. But here's the truth: anything worth having takes time to build. The power of patience lies in its ability to keep you grounded during the waiting period. It allows you to stay focused on the process instead of obsessing over the outcome. When you're patient, you're not constantly worrying, when will this happen? Instead, you're saying, I trust that it will happen, and I'll keep working until it does. Patience also teaches you resilience. Life doesn't always go as planned. There will be setbacks, delays, and obstacles. If you're impatient, those challenges can break you. But if you're patient, they become stepping stones. Patience helps you see the bigger picture and reminds you that a temporary setback is just that, temporary. Think about the stories of people who achieve great things. Do you think their success came overnight? Behind every overnight success is years of unseen effort. Patience is what kept them going when progress was slow. It's what helped them endure when results weren't immediate. Let me give you an example. Picture a bamboo tree. For the first several years after planting, it barely grows above the ground. But during that time, it's building a deep and sturdy root system. Then, almost overnight, it shoots up several feet. Without that foundation, the bamboo couldn't sustain its growth. Your goals are the same. The time you spend waiting isn't wasted. It's building the foundation for your success. Patience also gives you clarity. When you're rushing, your vision gets clouded. You make hasty decisions, overlook details, and miss opportunities. But when you're patient, you have the space to think clearly. You can evaluate your options, adjust your approach, and make better choices. How do you cultivate patience? Start by embracing the idea of seasons. Just like nature has seasons, spring for planting, summer for growth, fall for harvest, and winter for rest, your life does too. Not every season is a harvest. Some seasons are for planting seeds. Others are for waiting. Trust the rhythm of your life. Another way to develop patience is to focus on the present moment. Impatience often comes from worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. But when you bring your attention to what you can do today, you regain control. You realize that progress is made one step at a time, not all at once. Lastly, practice gratitude. Impatience often comes from a sense of lack. I don't have this yet. Gratitude shifts your focus to abundance. Look at all I already have. When you're grateful, you're less likely to rush because you're content with where you are while still working toward where you want to be. Patience isn't easy, especially in a world that celebrates speed. But it's a powerful skill that will serve you in every area of life. Remember, great things take time. Just like a seed needs time to grow into a tree, your efforts need time to bear fruit. Trust the process. Keep nurturing your goals and know that the wait will be worth it. 3. Control what you can, let go of what you can't. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? Just when you think you have everything under control, something unexpected happens. Someone lets you down. A plan falls apart. A situation unfolds that you never saw coming. And in those moments, frustration sets in because we feel powerless. But here's the thing. Powerlessness isn't the problem. The real issue is trying to control what was never ours to control in the first place. There's a liberating truth that many overlook. Your power lies in your ability to control yourself, not the world around you. Think about it. How much time and energy do we waste worrying about things we can't influence, whether it's someone else's opinion, an outcome we hope for, or even the weather? We spend so much mental energy trying to bend the world to our will, and what does it bring us? Stress, frustration, exhaustion. The solution? Shift your focus. Instead of trying to control everything, start with the one thing you can always control: yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your mindset. That's where your true power lies. Let's break it down. Imagine a river. You can't stop the current. It's going to flow no matter what you do. But what you can do is learn how to navigate it. You can steer your boat, adjust your course, and decide how to respond to the challenges along the way. Life is no different. The river represents the things you can't control: external events, other people's behavior, unexpected challenges. Your boat represents what you can control: your choices, your reactions, your perspective. Now, let's talk about the cost of trying to control the uncontrollable. When you focus on things outside your control, you're giving away your energy. You're letting external circumstances dictate your peace of mind. For example, have you ever been stuck in traffic and felt your blood pressure rise? You can't make the cars move faster, but you still let the situation ruin your mood. Why? Because you're resisting reality instead of accepting it. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing what you can influence and what you can't. When you accept that some things are beyond your control, you free yourself from the burden of trying to fix everything. This doesn't make you passive, it makes you wise. Now let's look at what's within your control. First, your thoughts. Your mind is your greatest tool. but it can also be your biggest obstacle if you don't manage it. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong or what you can't change, focus on solutions. Ask yourself, what's the next best step I can take? This simple shift in perspective turns frustration into action. Next, your actions. While you can't control outcomes, you can control the effort you put in. Focus on doing your best regardless of what happens next. This approach not only keeps you productive, but also gives you a sense of pride and fulfillment. Lastly, your mindset. Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. Two people can face the same challenge, and one might crumble while the other grows stronger. What's the difference? Mindset. A growth mindset allows you to see challenges as opportunities, not obstacles. Well, let's address the art of letting go. Letting go isn't about apathy or indifference. It's about understanding that holding on to what you can't control only weighs you down. Imagine carrying a heavy bag of rocks everywhere you go. Each rock represents something you're clinging to. A regret, a fear, an unmet expectation. The longer you carry the bag, the more it drains you. But when you decide to put the bag down, you feel lighter, freer. That's what letting go does for your spirit. Start practicing this by identifying what's outside your control. Write it down if you need to. Then ask yourself, is this worth my energy? If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect that energy towards something productive, something meaningful. Remember, life will always throw curveballs. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You can't stop the rain, but you can choose to dance in it. This mindset doesn't just make life easier, it makes it richer. You stop wasting energy on battles you can't win and start focusing on the areas where you can truly make a difference. When you master the art of controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't, you unlock a new level of peace and freedom. You become less reactive, more intentional, and ultimately more powerful. 4, embrace the power of silence. Have you ever stopped to think about how noisy the world has become? Everywhere you turn, there's chatter, social media, news, conversations, advertisements. Even when we're alone, the noise doesn't stop. Our minds race with thoughts, worries, and plans. It's no wonder we feel overwhelmed and disconnected. But what if I told you that in the middle of all this chaos, there's a source of clarity and strength waiting for you? That source is silence. Silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's the presence of peace. It's a space where you can hear yourself think, where your intuition can rise to the surface, and where you can reconnect with what truly matters. Yet, in our fast-paced world, silence is often overlooked, even avoided. Why? Because silence forces us to face ourselves. Think about the last time you were truly silent. No phone, no music, no distractions. For many, it's uncomfortable at first. We're so used to filling every moment with activity that stillness feels foreign. But here's the secret. Silence isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. In silence, you gain perspective. When the noise stops, you can step back and see the bigger picture. Problems that seemed overwhelming shrink in size. Solutions that felt out of reach become clear. It's like a fog lifting, revealing a path you couldn't see before. Silence also connects you to your intuition. We all have an inner voice, a sense of knowing that guides us. But in the noise of daily life, that voice gets drowned out. In silence, it becomes audible. You start to notice what feels right, what feels wrong, and what steps you need to take next. Let's not forget the restorative power of silence. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, your mind is always on, always processing. Silence gives your mind a chance to rest, to recharge. It's like a deep breath for your brain, refreshing and energizing you in a way that noise never can. How do you cultivate silence in your life? Start small. Dedicate just 5 minutes a day to sitting in silence. No distractions, no agenda. Just sit and be. Over time, you can extend this practice, allowing it to become a cornerstone of your daily routine. Another way to embrace silence is to create quiet zones in your day. Turn off notifications, step away from screens, and give yourself permission to disconnect. Use this time to reflect, meditate, or simply enjoy the stillness. You can also bring silence into your interactions. Instead of rushing to fill every pause in a conversation, allow moments of quiet. These pauses create space for deeper connection and understanding. The beauty of silence is that it doesn't demand anything from you. It doesn't judge, criticize, or rush you. It simply exists, offering you a space to reconnect with yourself. In a noisy world, silence is a superpower. It's in the quiet moments that you find clarity, strength, and peace. So, don't be afraid to turn down the volume and listen to what silence has to say. It might just change your life. Let life unfold naturally. Have you ever found yourself so focused on making something happen that you end up frustrated and exhausted? Maybe it's a career goal, a relationship, or a dream project. You've planned every step, pushed every obstacle, and yet things just aren't falling into place. Why? Because sometimes the more you try to force life, the more life pushes back. Think about this. Have you ever seen someone pull on a tightly knotted rope? The harder they pull, the tighter the knot becomes. Life works the same way. Forcing outcomes often creates resistance. It's as if life itself is saying, wait, this isn't the right time. Trust me. But trusting is hard, isn't it? We want results now. We want assurance that everything will work out the way we envision. Here's the truth that few realize. Life has its own timing and path for you. When you let go of the need to control every detail, you open yourself to possibilities that you may not have even considered. Opportunities that can lead to something far better than you imagine. Consider the analogy of a flower. A flower doesn't bloom because you force it to. You can't pull on its petals and demand it grow faster. No. A flower blooms when it's ready, when it's received enough sunlight, water, and time. Life is like that flower. It unfolds naturally, at its own pace. Letting life unfold naturally doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you prepare the soil, plant the seeds, and nurture them. You take action, but you also trust the process. When you do this, you move with the flow of life instead of against it. Now, why is this idea so hard for most people? Because we live in a world that values control and certainty. We're taught that success comes from planning and pushing, from making things happen. And while effort and discipline are important, there's another side to the equation. Trust. Trust that life knows what it's doing. Trust that there's a bigger picture you can't always see. One of the best ways to let life unfold naturally is to stay open-minded. Often we get so fixated on a specific outcome that we miss other opportunities along the way. For example, you might be so focused on getting one particular job that you overlook another role that's an even better fit. Or you might push for a relationship to work even though it's not truly aligned with who you are. When you let go of rigidity, you allow life to surprise you. You create space for new ideas, people, and experiences to enter your world. And often, these surprises are exactly what you need, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Another key is to practice patience. In a culture of instant gratification, waiting feels unbearable, but growth takes time. Progress takes time, and the more you learn to embrace patience, the more peace you'll find. You stop fighting against the current and start flowing with it. Letting life unfold naturally also requires you to trust yourself. Trust that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Trust that even if things don't go as planned, you'll find a way to adapt and thrive. Here's an exercise to help you practice this mindset. Think about a time in your life when things didn't go as you planned, but somehow they worked out for the better. Maybe it was a missed opportunity that led to something even greater, or a closed door that pointed you toward a new path. Reflect on that experience and remind yourself that life often has a way of working things out, even when you don't see it in the moment. So the next time you find yourself trying to force an outcome, pause. Take a step back and ask yourself, am I resisting the flow of life? Am I clinging to my own timeline instead of trusting life's timing? When you let go of the need to control everything, you create space for something beautiful to unfold. Letting life unfold naturally isn't about giving up. It's about finding balance. It's about taking action while also trusting the process. And when you find that balance, life becomes less stressful and more joyful. You stop pushing against the current and start flowing with it. And that's when the magic happens. 6, practice non-attachment. Let's talk about a word that often gets misunderstood, non-attachment. Many people hear this and think it means you shouldn't care about anything, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Non-attachment isn't about apathy or indifference, it's about freedom. Non-attachment means you care deeply, but you don't cling. You set your goals, take action, and give your best effort, but you're not obsessed with the outcome. You don't tie your happiness or self-worth to whether things go exactly as you planned. And in that detachment, you find peace. Let's break it down. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze your fist trying to hold on to every grain, the sand slips through your fingers. But if you hold your hand open, the sand stays in place. That's the essence of non-attachment. It's about holding things lightly, not gripping them so tightly that they slip away. When you practice non-attachment, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Think about how much mental energy we waste worrying about things we can't control. Will this project succeed? Will that person like me? Will everything go according to plan? Non-attachment allows you to release those worries. But let's be clear, non-attachment doesn't mean you stop setting goals or working hard. Doesn't mean you don't care about success or relationships. It simply means you don't let those things define you. You don't let them control your happiness or your sense of self-worth. Here's the paradox. When you let go of the need to control everything, you often achieve more. Why? Because you're not weighed down by fear or desperation. You're free to act with clarity and purpose. You're free to adapt when things don't go as planned. Consider the mindset of a skilled archer. They aim carefully, focus on their target, and release the arrow with precision. But once the arrow was released, they don't cling to the outcome. They don't chase after it, trying to steer it midair. They've done their part, and now they trust the process. Same principle applies to life. Set your intention, take your shot, and then trust that whatever happens is for your highest good. One way to cultivate non-attachment is to focus on the process, not the outcome. Enjoy the journey instead of fixating on the destination. When you're fully present in the moment, you find joy in the little things. You discover that happiness isn't something you achieve someday, it's something you create right now. Another practice is gratitude. When you're grateful for what you have, you're less likely to cling to what you don't have. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to trust. Finally, remember this: life is dynamic. Things change, people change, circumstances evolve. Non-attachment allows you to flow with those changes instead of resisting them. It allows you to embrace the uncertainty of life with grace and courage. Non-attachment isn't about giving up on your dreams or desires. It's about pursuing them with an open heart and an open mind. It's about finding joy in the journey and trusting that the right outcomes will unfold at the right time. So, set your goals, take action, and then release your grip. Let life surprise you. When you practice non-attachment, you'll find a sense of freedom and peace that nothing else can offer. And that's a gift worth pursuing. 7. Learn to flow with change. Change is one of life's certainties, yet it's something so many of us resist. Why? Because change disrupts our sense of comfort and control. It forces us to confront the unknown, and that can feel intimidating, even frightening. But here's the truth: resisting change doesn't stop it. It only makes the process more painful. Imagine standing in a river with a strong current. You can fight against it, using all your energy to try and go upstream, or you can learn to flow with it, navigating the twists and turns with grace. Life is like that river. It's always moving, always shifting. The question is, will you resist it or flow with it? Resistance to change often stems from fear. Fear of losing what we know, fear of stepping into the unknown, fear of failure. But fear is a poor guide. It blinds us to the opportunities that change brings. It keeps us stuck in places we've outgrown. Think about a time in your life when change brought you something positive. Maybe it was a new job, a move to a different city, or a relationship that pushed you to grow. At first, it might have been uncomfortable, but over time, you adapted. You found your footing, and perhaps you even discovered something wonderful that wouldn't have been possible without that change. When you embrace change, you open yourself to growth. You learn new skills, gain fresh perspectives, and discover strengths you didn't know you had. Change challenges you to step out of your comfort zone. And while that's not always easy, it's often where the most meaningful growth happens. One way to flow with change is to focus on what you can control. You can't always control the external circumstances, but you can control how you respond to them. You can choose to see change as an opportunity rather than a threat. You can choose to approach it with curiosity instead of fear. Another strategy is to practice adaptability. The more flexible you are, the easier it is to navigate life's transitions. Think of a tree in a storm. A rigid tree is more likely to snap, but a flexible tree bends with the wind and survives. Adaptability doesn't mean you abandon your values or goals. It means you find creative ways to achieve them, even when the path changes. It's also important to cultivate a mindset of learning. Every change, even the difficult ones, has something to teach you. Maybe it's a lesson in patience, resilience, or resourcefulness. When you approach change as a teacher, You transform challenges into opportunities for growth. Of course, flowing with change doesn't mean you have to love every moment of it. Some changes are hard, some bring loss and grief. But even in those moments, there's a choice. Will you let the change break you, or will you let it shape you into someone stronger? Here's an exercise to help you embrace change. Think about an area of your life where you're resisting change. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? And what might I gain if I let go of that fear? Write down your thoughts and reflect on them. Sometimes just acknowledging your fears can help you release them. Remember, life is always evolving. Seasons change, people grow, circumstances shift. Resisting that flow only holds you back. But when you learn to flow with change, you discover a sense of freedom and resilience that can carry you through anything. 8. Develop inner peace. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, inner peace can seem like an impossible goal. But the truth is, inner peace isn't about controlling the chaos around you, it's about finding calm within. It's about mastering your inner world so that the external world loses its power to disturb you. Think of inner peace as a quiet lake. No matter how strong the wind blows or how many pebbles are thrown into it, the lake eventually returns to stillness. That stillness doesn't come from the absence of disturbances. It comes from the lake's ability to absorb and settle them. So, how do you cultivate inner peace? It starts with understanding that peace is an inside job. Too often we look for peace in external circumstances. A quiet house, a perfect relationship, a stable job. But external peace is temporary. True peace comes from within, and it's something you can carry with you no matter what's happening around you. One powerful way to develop inner peace is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. When you're mindful, you're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. You're simply here now. And in the present moment, there's often more peace than we realize. Another key to inner peace is letting go of control. The more we try to control everything, people, outcomes, circumstances, the more frustrated we become. Life is unpredictable, and trying to micromanage it only leads to stress. Instead, focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. Gratitude is another powerful tool for cultivating inner peace. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. You stop fixating on what's wrong and start appreciating what's right. And in that shift, you find peace. It's also important to set boundaries. Inner peace isn't just about managing your inner world, it's also about protecting it. That means saying no to things that drain your energy, setting limits on toxic relationships, and prioritizing your well-being. One of the greatest obstacles to inner peace is our own mind. The mind loves to overthink, worry, and dwell on problems. But here's the thing, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. When you learn to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them, you reclaim your peace. Meditation is a powerful practice for quieting the mind and connecting with your inner calm. Even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back to your breath. Over time, you'll find it easier to tap into that peaceful state. Finally, remember that inner peace is a practice, not a destination. It's something you cultivate daily, moment by moment. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. What matters is your commitment to the practice. Inner peace doesn't mean you'll never feel stress, anger, or sadness. Those emotions are a natural part of life. But when you cultivate inner peace, you learn to navigate those emotions with grace. You learn to respond rather than react. And in that response, you find strength and stability. So take a deep breath. Trust that peace is within you, waiting to be discovered. And remember, the calmer your inner world, the less power the outer world has over you. That's the gift of inner peace, a gift you can carry with you no matter what life brings. 9, the role of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked principles in life. It's a simple practice, but it can transform how you see the world and how the world responds to you. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about genuinely appreciating what you have, your life, your opportunities, and even your challenges. Let's start with a simple truth. What you focus on grows. If you're always focused on what's missing in your life, you'll continue to see lack everywhere you look. But if you focus on what you have, you'll start to notice abundance. Gratitude shifts your perspective, and that shift changes everything. Think about it. When was the last time you truly paused to appreciate the small things? The warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of laughter, the simple pleasure of a good meal. These aren't small things. They're the essence of life. And when you take the time to acknowledge them, you create a sense of contentment that no external achievement can match. Gratitude isn't just a mindset. It's a practice. It's something you cultivate daily, even when life feels difficult, especially when life feels difficult. Why? Because gratitude has a way of grounding you. It reminds you of what's good, even in the midst of challenges. It helps you find the silver lining in every situation. For example, consider a setback you faced in the past. Maybe it was a missed opportunity or a failure that felt devastating at the time. Now, think about what that experience taught you. Maybe it pushed you to grow, led you to a better path, or revealed strengths you didn't know you had. Even in hardship, there's something to be grateful for. When you practice gratitude, you stop feeling the need to force more into your life. You stop chasing after things you think you need to be happy because you realize you already have enough. Gratitude creates a foundation of contentment, and contentment is a magnet for success. Success born from gratitude is sustainable. It's not driven by a constant need for more, but by a deep appreciation for what already is. That doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or improvement. It means you strive from a place of abundance rather than lack. You work toward your goals with a sense of joy, not desperation. One way to cultivate gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, the smaller the better. The smell of coffee in the morning, a kind word from a stranger, the comfort of a cozy blanket. Over time, this practice trains your mind to notice the good in every day. Another practice is to express gratitude to others. How often do you take the time to thank the people in your life? Not just for the big gestures, but for the little things they do every day. A simple thank you can go a long way in strengthening relationships and spreading positivity. Gratitude also has a ripple effect. When you practice gratitude, you inspire others to do the same. Your positive energy becomes contagious. People are drawn to those who appreciate life because it reminds them to appreciate their own. Gratitude is more than just a feel-good practice. It's a powerful tool for personal growth. It helps you stay present, focused, and resilient. It reminds you of your strengths and resources. And it connects you to the bigger picture, helping you see how everything in life is interconnected. So take a moment right now to think about what you're grateful for. Let that feeling of appreciation fill you. And remember, gratitude isn't about ignoring life's challenges. It's about choosing to focus on what's good, even when times are tough. Because when you do, you open the door to more good things. 10. Trust the process. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we can't predict or control. Sometimes things happen that make no sense in the moment. A setback, a delay, a detour. It's easy to get frustrated, to feel like life isn't going the way it should. But here's the thing, life rarely unfolds according to our plans. And that's not a bad thing. Trusting the process means having faith that life is working for you, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's about understanding that every challenge, every delay, every unexpected twist is part of your journey. And more importantly, it's about believing that these experiences are shaping you into the person you're meant to become. Think about the process of planting a seed. You can't force it to grow. You can water it, give it sunlight, and nurture it, but the growth happens in its own time. The same is true for life. You can take action, set goals, and work hard, but you can't rush the results. Growth takes time, and the process is just as important as the outcome. Often we resist the process because we want instant results. We want things to happen on our timeline, according to our plans. But life doesn't work that way. And when you fight against the natural flow of life, you create stress and frustration. Trusting the process requires patience. It requires letting go of the need to control every detail and instead focusing on what you can do in the moment. It's about taking one step at a time, knowing that each step is leading you closer to your goal, even if the path isn't clear. It's also about embracing uncertainty. Life is full of unknowns, and that's what makes it exciting. When you trust the process, you learn to see uncertainty not as something to fear, but as an opportunity for growth. You learn to adapt, to be flexible, to find solutions in the midst of challenges. One of the biggest obstacles to trusting the process is doubt. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to doubt yourself, your path, and even life itself. But doubt is part of a journey. It's a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, that you're growing. And the best way to overcome doubt is to take action, even if it's just a small step. Another important aspect of trusting the process is perspective. Sometimes we get so focused on the short term that we lose sight of the bigger picture. We see a setback as a failure rather than a stepping stone. But when you take a step back and look at your life as a whole, you realize that even the challenges have a purpose. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned, but later it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Maybe a missed opportunity led to something better. Maybe a failure taught you a valuable lesson. These experiences remind us that life has a way of working out, even when it doesn't go according to plan. Trusting the process doesn't mean you stop working toward your goals. It doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you take action with faith, knowing that life will meet you halfway. It means you focus on what you can do and let go of the rest. So when you face challenges, remember to trust the process. Know that life is unfolding exactly as it should. Have faith that everything is happening for a reason, even if you can't see it yet. And most importantly, keep moving forward, because the process is where growth happens, and growth is what life is all about. Here's the paradox. The less you force, the more life flows. When you release the need to control, you create space for opportunities, solutions, and growth to naturally arise. Life isn't a battle to win, it's a dance to enjoy. So the next time you feel the urge to push, to force, to control, to pause, take a breath. Remind yourself that real power comes not from trying harder, but from aligning your efforts with life's natural rhythm.